Good now, revolutionaries, and welcome to the Rise Up Morning Show.
Rise Up Morning Show. I haven't heard that jingle in a minute.
And that sound, of course, means that Mr. Will Watson is back, about which I have to say, and also the newest edition of the Rise Up Morning Show soundboard. But maybe Will, you give us one in person. How you been, man? Good to see you.
I've been good. I was in Georgia with you guys, and when we were in person, I didn't get to hear those glorious sounds. And then I was up in Maine with my family skiing, celebrating Christmas, and that was fantastic. And then went to Vegas for New Year's, and my best friend lives out there, so it's real easy and comfortable to be out there. And brought my girlfriend. It was the first time she'd been that far west. She'd been to Europe and Asia, but she hasn't gone west of the Mississippi. So, got her in Vegas for the first time, shot guns, flew helicopter, got my girlfriend into David Copperfield's magic show. And by into it, I mean,
you guys see the magic?
She was the magic. We got her on stage.
So
Violet was on stage.
God,
David
are you
Copperfield
kidding
was part
me?
of his show. Yeah, and we got a souvenir. We got to meet him backstage and stuff, he's a weird dude.
He is a weird dude. Did you buy the tickets or did you happen to sit in a place where you got to be picked?
I have a friend who is an executive of one of the casinos, and he gave me his seats.
That is wild. Kimberly, I took Kimberly to David Copperfield the last time we were in Vegas because she's been a David Copperfield fan since she was a kid. And we got these great tickets that are like right at eye level in those. I don't know if I imagine he's performing in the same arena.
He's at the MGM.
The MGM. He's in that same
for
theater.
Forever.
So we're in that ring of seats, right when, there's the floor seats that are way below eye level. And then that first ring of like booths, and we were like right in the middle, right at eye level. I had upgraded our seats at the last minute. She didn't know about it. And I was like, he is going to pick us. There was this bored, uninterested looking girl in the booth next to us. And as his assistants were walking by, they were like walking by us. It was like the moment in Hook when he hands off the scepter and this guy tapped this like snoozy looking woman on the shoulder and was like, would you like to be on the show? And Kimberly was right next to her, just like,
son of
mortified. So I'm so excited that she got to do that.
Is he a little too friendly? No, he's not overly friendly. He's just like he's a weird guy. His eye contact is slightly unsettling.
Yeah, and did he make any comments about his plans to disappear the moon? Because last time,
yes,
is he still doing that?
He's still trying to disappear the moon.
Still on that grift, huh?
He's still on it. He's still on it, man.
He's gonna grift, man.
I remember that when the last time I was when I was in Vegas, and it was like 20 some odd years ago, he was gonna do that.
He's still trying.
That's a great gig, man. Good for him.
Hey, he's a billionaire, so he's doing something right.
Yeah. Oh yeah. I think he's licensed a lot of magic. I think he has patents that other people use, and many, not just magic, but I understand he has patents for stagecraft and things.
Yeah. But one other thing that was funny too was we walked into a store in the MGM that has like these historical items. And we walked into it and just walked around with my girlfriend and my best friend. My best friend sees this shorter guy, walks up and goes, "Yo, this store sucks," to this random guy. My friend will do that to people randomly. Like, he'll just like fuck with them. And I was like, here he is being rude again. The guy turns around. Turns out they've been golfing buddies. Also turns out the guy owns the store. So he brings us into the private elevator, brings us up to all 3 levels and into the back rooms. We saw ancient samurai armor. We saw... dude, the amount of art pieces I saw that were over $250,000 is astounding. It was also the section where Michael Jackson used to come in and just kind of pick things out and buy. And you can see the store on like a YouTube video of Michael Jackson, like just walking and buying shit. It was funny. He was just telling us about how all the famous people will fly in and buy stuff. He's like, yeah, man, all I have to do is sell like one thing up here and it pays for the rent, And it's just like, I was like, dude, this is fucking crazy. So I saw these like Victorian pieces. I saw these pieces from like the French Revolution, France era. Like it was crazy pieces. It was nuts.
Okay. And I got to know, how was the helicopter Grand Canyon experience? Was Violet just blown away? Was it awesome?
Oh yeah. That was Violet's favorite thing. And I will say, like, you fly around the strip and then you kind of just start going west. And it's about 45 minutes by helicopter to get to the Grand Canyon. And seeing the Hoover Dam was cool and all, but like I've seen the Hoover Dam before. So I was like, yeah, there's the Hoover Dam. It's big. It's a dam. And
Damn.
And then as you're coming in, you can't see the Grand Canyon until you get over one final kind of hump, if you will. And then you're just in it. And the Grand Canyon's just like there in front of your face. And you're like, oh shit. So that was really, really cool. My girlfriend liked that the most. I'd recommend it to anybody. It's a great way to see the Grand Canyon. And that's my second time seeing it. And they're both very different. This was the West Rim. I've done the Southern Rim on foot, and it's super cool, but for different reasons. It was awesome.
Machiste wants to know, did you tell the store owner that one day you'll be buying all the art with your magic internet coins?
We were talking about it. He knows the Bitcoin I have, and he gave me his card. And I was like, I'll never buy anything like this. I'm here for Pokemon cards only.
Here for the Pokemon, baby.
Don't come for me.
Well, thank you so much for coming back to the show. We missed you so much. Everybody in the audience missed you. I'm going to give you one more of these because, you know, Dolphin's in the chat and everything. But if you, yeah, you didn't hear it, did you? It's like, which one's the real one? If you've got a cryptocurrency question for me, for Alex, for Will, now that he's back, we definitely want to hear from you. We're live Monday through Thursday at 7 a.m. Central Standard Time. And we want to encourage you, if you're seeing us for the first time, especially, to jump in the free Discord community. It's where the show lives 24/7. It's a great place to ask your crypto question. And that's the fastest way to learn crypto, is by hanging out in a room full of others who are trying to learn it too. It's a lot more fun that way. You feel a lot less lonely. And we look forward to helping you out. As we say, rise up. So, Will, now that you're back, are you like on top of it enough to give us a solid market update? Have you, I know you haven't been like away, but what's going on? Alex and I have just been passing a football back and forth when we talk about markets to say like, well, sometimes they're up and sometimes they're down.
I mean, from a macro standpoint, I have no clue, really. I haven't really been paying attention to macro. I've just been looking at price action for Bitcoin. Price action for Bitcoin looks pretty solid and stable right now. If you've seen my Bitcoin update video, you already know what I'm going to say. We're attempting to try to make a new relative higher high for Bitcoin. If we can do that, it confirms the bottom that we had, in my personal opinion, at $91,429. But which, you know, that might take a
first of all,
right. Yeah, that could be the bottom. But you know, we'll see. We can spend the next like day or two trying to fight it and get above it. If we're able to do that, great. If it takes longer than 2 days, we might be in a little bit of a rough spot. But yeah, otherwise, you know, I see signs of recovery here. Not confirmed yet, but I think things are good, particularly with how the ETFs on Friday bought $900 million. So from a macro standpoint, though, I have no clue how things are going. I do know today that we're going to get factory orders data. On Tuesday, we get the Jolt Jobs Survey data, PMI data. Wednesday, we get payrolls and jobless claims data. Also, FOMC meeting minutes. So we'll get understand a little bit more as to what the Fed's kind of talking about internally. So Wednesday is the bigger day from the macro standpoint. Interesting. On Thursday, the U.S. stocks are closed for I believe it's for Jimmy Carter's National Day of Mourning.
Oh, yeah. That makes sense.
Yeah, so Jimmy Carter passed. Okay, president. Great man. U.S. stock market will be closed on Thursday. And on Friday, non-farm payrolls report. But Wednesday's the big day.
Mike had an interesting comment about how weird it feels for 90 to be a local bottom for Bitcoin. $90,000. Like just emotionally, right? How weird that is considering what we've been used to.
I know. And if you've been here for a while, it's like $91,000 and the market's pissed off. You're here for enough time and you start looking at people screaming and yelling at Bitcoin and how it's all over. And it's like, guys, I remember when it was $3,000.
Yeah.
I remember looking at it at 3,000 saying like, oh man, that's so expensive. I can't afford a whole one.
Mm-hmm. Oh, back in my day. Yeah.
Back in my day, Bitcoin
I already feel like
$3,000.
I heard, Raoul Pal talking in an interview that Alex shared yesterday with, is it Steven? What's Steven's last name? Alex on the Diary of a CEO?
Bartlett.
Bartlett, Stephen Bartlett, and it was a fantastic conversation. But one of his points, he doesn't make price predictions anymore, he says, but he is very comfortable saying things like,
I love seeing Raw Paul grow up.
yeah, I know. I absolutely
It's been
agree.
a treat to watch him grow up.
But I thought he mentioned some people say this will go to $100 trillion, our industry. He said, at which point I expect to see, just based on the math, Bitcoin to be worth this, ETH to be worth this. His ETH target based on that math was like, I don't know, almost $200,000. So sometimes when I see the numbers going up, I have to do a little bit of math again to remind myself like, oh yeah, no, this is where we are, but this is where we're going. After being in one place for so long, though, it does feel a little surreal. Do you see Misty's comment down here that Trudeau might resign?
Yeah, well, they've been talking about that for the past like 2 or 3 weeks or so.
But it became a little bit more official yesterday, like from the man himself.
I mean, it makes sense. Canada's in the shitter right now and has been for a little bit.
Well, I mean, there's obviously a tremendous amount going on. There's a whole lot of extremely unhelpful news about okay, Nick, you're killing me, man.
About what?
Just I think the like what's becoming bumper sticker funny about making Canada the 51st state and a bunch of other nonsense like this that has escalated from like a joke on social media to like a joke in the White House. Or the incoming White House, which is just
invade Canada, do it again. It's like we can do it.
Unbelievably stupid and unhelpful.
Third time is the charm. Let's invade.
That's really
Canada
something that people are saying.
Yo, yeah,
and we'll take it.
Yeah. By people, I mean the incoming president.
How interesting. So we've got a couple.
Let's
of
make him the
questions
51st state.
No.
Because
Come
it's
on.
that easy. It's that easy, people. You
is.
just like slap a label on it and nobody dies.
Hell yeah! I mean,
this is a gross misrepresentation of
we
the
would have
facts.
to invade Canada.
Great point, Alex.
And this time we will get revenge for our faulty invasion of, what was it, Quebec or Montreal? Was it Quebec?
I will absolutely die
Montreal.
on this
It
hill.
was Montreal.
Something like that. So if you've got a crypto question, this is the place for it. We've got 2 good questions I saw come in. I would be curious to know about thoughts on the upcoming token unlocks for Ondo and ongoing. But first, somebody mentioned in the news that AI agents are hot right now, and boy,
I hate it. I hate it
can't
so
wait
much,
to get-
but
I've
yes,
been
they are.
waiting to get Will's thoughts on this. So for people who don't know, let me drop a couple of quick resources so you can get up to speed, or if you're feeling behind in this moment, I always recommend Unchained. They have fantastic 2 most recent podcasts are with Shaw Walters and Jasper, whose name I cannot recall, who have coded respectively ELIZA, the framework behind AI 16Z, and what's the marketplace? It just fell right out of my head. That we're all excited about. It's pumped out fun, but for AI agents. God,
I have no idea what you're talking about.
I'm talking about the marketplace with all the AI crypto. It's an R word, and I have Discord.
Rabute Gilliman.
No, Alex, help me out. Somebody in the chat, help me out. You know what I'm talking about? The it's not Revolutions. It's not
Robust AI agent marketplace.
Oh my God! It's a Monday morning.
Rectangle in circle.
No.
What is happening?
Virtuals. It's.
Oh.
I've thought about the R. The
That
virtuals
doesn't start with an R.
marketplace. Virtuals. It's virtuals. The R is prominent. So there are great episodes interviewing those 2 gentlemen, talking about the difference between like LLMs, which is what GPT is, an AI that you can talk to, a coding base that has been trained on a bunch of data sets, versus AI agents, an era we're entering into where machines can make decisions and do things for themselves. We've been here for a minute, but at consumer scale, we're starting to see it explode across crypto. Those are 2 good resources to learn, but Will works in AI tech sales, so we've been dying to ask you, Will, what do you think about all this?
In what world does an AI agent actually have the ability to get adoption and use by making it more difficult to use by attaching a wallet to it and attaching cryptocurrency to it? So from like an application standpoint, it makes absolutely 0 sense. Now,
I think it's creating agents that can use their own wallets, not you use an agent that creates a wallet for you. I mean, you
Okay.
could do that too, but my understanding is a lot of these agents are given autonomy over a particular task. You know, like the same way I might ask GPT to come up with a marketing plan, only this agent can actually then post on Facebook for me, or you know, do the research and talk to other agents and spin up slave agents that will do the work for it, or do stuff with a private key that it owns.
So it'll spin up a wallet for you.
It'll spin up a wallet for itself.
Okay. So then it saves you, the user, the ability to have to like manage the Web3 side of things.
Well, not just manage the Web3 side of things, but trade stuff. It can trade stuff for me. It can comb my social feed and see every time in my comments, somebody posts a ticker, that agent can be combing my comments, can respond to every single comment personally, and can research the tickers to determine which are the best performing and most likely to succeed in the next day, and then start day trading on them if I want to give it some ETH.
I mean, I hate the idea of it, but you know, that'll be an attractive idea to some people to at least try. I certainly wouldn't be the first in line for that. I don't want to be the person that the AI agent is learning off of. I don't want to be the capital that AI agent starts making mistakes off of. You know, you want to see proof is in the pudding before you give up control, which
definitely.
I personally would just never, ever do because I am a bit of a control freak. So that wouldn't work for me. Some people though, you know, shit, take $100, $50, go give it a test. You know, don't test it with a lot of money. But you know,
well, and a
you
lot of
can go
people
experiment with it.
are not speculating by testing, building their own. A lot of people are speculating by buying tokens that are affiliated with these agents. Like the tokens for these agents largely exist to capture the upside for any of the activity that the tokens might do. They're really functioning as like a stock, like definitely a security, says the guy who's not a securities lawyer. But you might buy AI16Z token because you want to speculate on the success of the AI16Z agents hedge fund investing.
The issue is I don't think you're going to have many people actually using the application as compared to people actually just buying the token. Yeah, I mean, the whole AI bot thing in the crypto space, I just don't see it being good.
I think you should listen to these episodes, man.
I'd listen to the episodes. It's hard for me to get over my own control.
What do you have to say about like you talk about the speculating, and I agree completely on that, but what do you have to say about like, okay, so Eliza, the agent that makes AI16Z possible, has started outsourcing help on Twitter to say things like, if you do this for me, I will pay you, and has paid, you know, randos on Twitter who do a job for her money, has paid other AI agents money. I mean, what do you think about that? Like, do you not think at least that it's I understand your cause for concern and skepticism, but in my mind, we've already passed the point where like we should be skeptical about it and we should be concerned about it because it's here. Like, you sound like you might be skeptical about the value of it. Am I understanding it correctly, or am I just?
I'm skeptical of. I don't know if I'm skeptical of the value of it because I can see there being some potential value for people, right? Yeah. If some people are getting paid for doing a quick little thing on social media, hey, that's great. That's wonderful. Doesn't matter where the money's coming from, so long as the money flows. And if people who aren't, some people are just never going to be able to be very good at making a wallet, managing their stuff. If some of that can be taken off their plate, hey, that's a good thing. But these things need to be foolproof. Because in the Web3 space, you can lose your money with one single mistake. There's no safety net, right? So these things that are doing some of these decision making for you, they need to be bulletproof, right? So I just see right now it being so early on, so many of these things are going to end up making mistakes and are going to make people lose all the money that they trusted to these things, which hopefully isn't a lot. But that's the thing. It's just like the risk of that is so high right now. I just would never touch it in a million years myself, but you know, it can get better for sure.
Okay, so
that's my fear.
Thoughts on these things. I kind of disagree, I guess, Will, with like your line of thinking. I have a major issue with the whole thing, but it has nothing to do with the sanctity of like the bot itself. I think those are going to continue to get more popular. You have proof of concept in all sorts of things like Telegram trading bots, which are nightmarishly bad user experiences. So imagine like taking something with the popularity of that and making it infinitely easier to use quickly. You've got all kinds of options that present themselves there, including the fact that, like, you know, if I'm using Banana Gun, I'm not giving it access to like my entire Solana wallet. I'm spinning up a fresh one, funding it with a little bit that I'm willing to risk and just letting it do its thing. So if that's the use case, totally here for it. In that case, what it makes me more bullish on is Solana and Ethereum, not any of their own little currencies. I still don't understand, and no one's been able to explain to me why all of these different individual bots need to have their own cryptocurrency attached to it. That's just that's the speculation gamble play that doesn't matter. Those tokens don't matter. If the value in it is that you can increase usability for people who don't want to spend all the time doing all of the things and like getting this thing to like help you do the research and make strategic buys, and even if there were some that were, you know, coded to run super conservative and just be like extremely, you know, like hands off light, like what it's going to do is like track news and find good entry points to make my Bitcoin dollar cost averaging better. Cool, great. Like that makes sense. It makes me more excited about the networks where all the stuff is already happening. It makes me more excited about the Solanas and the Base and the Ethereum and any other like layer 2s that are getting adoption, and you know, Avalanche for gaming. Like, hey, I want to play games. Here's an agent on Avalanche to help me manage all of my assets or whatever it is. I don't understand why they all need their own currencies. That doesn't make any sense to me. That doesn't add anything to the equation for me. And if it's like something where you have to pay in credits and its native token to like get it to work, I think they're doomed. That has to get taken away.
Yeah.
That can't be the feature.
You knocked on something else that is the biggest underlying fear that I did a bad job of enunciating or explaining, which is anything that influences a user from giving up control of their own money is the biggest minefield of scams, honeypots, backdoors that you possibly could. It's going to be the biggest prize. The amount of AI agents I think you'll see that will end up being rug pulls of sorts are going to be incredibly high. Because just think about it. If you're a rug pull, if you're going to make a rug pull, if you're going to make some type of scam, the best scam is something that gives you control of people's money. I mean, that was Syncus DAO in a very different way. Syncus DAO, which if you guys don't know, very famously about 9 months ago now, 10 months ago, was a huge rug pull. Massive, massive rug pull. And what they did,
you can go ahead and clean up your timeline by finding every influencer that ever shilled that piece of shit to you, because anyone with 3 brain cells could have read into that thing and known that it was garbage and going to fall and fail. It had like all the telltale signs. They basically should have just had a headline like, hey, it's a scam, it's only a matter of time. Just go ahead and remove any of those people.
And if you go back far enough in time, you'll find a video of me that says, I think the price of this asset will go up, but everyone will lose all their money. You'll find that on my profile page. But basically what happened is you were heavily penalized if you wanted to unstake your Syncus. And if you did, that fee was then given to people who were still staking. So what it did is it created an environment where everyone just kept staking. The amount of people staking went up and up and up and up and up. No one ever unstaked. And then once that pool got to a certain point, the team just grabbed it and took it. It's the same kind of thing. An AI agent is even better because you get access to people's wallets. So I think AI agents will be a hotbed of rug pulls and scams, particularly with it being a hot trend.
I don't disagree. I think the tokens are valuable the same way stocks for a company are valuable, and the same way it makes sense to issue them in, you know, your own name. For a token, for an agent to have the opportunity to allow people to speculate on its work and then incentivize people to help it work more, like do more work. Money is in our capital system just a representation of energy. You could define it that way. It is a capacity to do more work, to get people to do more things. And so I think the more people that buy a token and can fund the agent directly without an intermediary are fulfilling an important duty, or have a tool that allows them to act in their conviction with greater velocity. I see its purpose that way.
I just think it's way more likely that we enter this sort of like altered carbon sector of the crypto space, wherein the meme coin casino is looked at by many people as being the place where you can like go to gamble more effectively. And then it just ends up being this like PvP of AIs all learning off of each other, trading against each other, and then that's like the thing that has the potential to crater the meme coin casino.
Yeah,
I mean, maybe, but you know,
think about how that would work though. Like, if I'm trying to put myself in the headspace of like, okay, how can I most effectively capitalize on an agent, an AI agent of some sort to like make me the most money possible? It's like, okay, well, I know there's all these people who make money in meme coins, and I've heard about copy trading, and I've heard about wallet tracking, and I've heard about all these things. I don't know how it works, and I don't have the time, and I don't care. I'm gonna load a Solana into this AI thing and send it into the trenches in my stead. Where everyone else has just had the exact same thought, and then all of these things are like, you know what, like they can't all be independent, so they're all going to have been like learning. You know, I don't think it's necessarily hive mind, but what are they learning off of? They're learning off of like past degen, you know, wallet activity and on-chain activity in the meme trenches.
Well, what you'd presumably do is you'd probably take like 1,000 of them in a room that you'd study, and these studies are being done right now.
Yeah,
where you'd see like, here's one choice that somebody made, and then 500 made it right. Okay, of that 500, who made the next choice right, and the next choice, to determine who's like the most trusted.
Well, sure, but that's what I'm saying. Like, eventually you get to the point where like, what are they referring to? And they're referring to years now of data run by AI agents making these trades and doing this analysis. You know, what that would do to the meme space as just one example of a place where I imagine they will be used. That's very interesting to me. I don't have the answer. I don't know exactly what that's going to like look like on the back end when they're done, and you just have this like room of AIs, you know, arguing and trading against each other while a bunch of people just sort of stare and watch. Because I mean, you know, for those who maybe aren't fully aware, the meme coin casino is a PvP arena, meaning that it's not generating any revenue. There's two things that get revenue, three things that get revenue in the meme coin casino. You have the underlying blockchain that these things are built on, generating gas fees and paying validators and whatever. You have Pump.Fun, who is making the primary like launch pad for these tokens. And I forget what their daily, they just hit another peak of daily revenue the other day. It was like $20 million, $14 million in one day of revenue on Pump.Fun for the platform, not for you. And then two would be the dexes that facilitate the trading. So whether it's Raydium or Jupiter or Orca or who on Solana, or, you know, Aerodrome on Base for Base memes, and Uniswap and whatever. So whoever that is. Okay, those three are making money. Everything else is just trading the same amount of money back and forth. You know, like you make some money on this meme and then you lose it in this one. And then you make it back on this one and you lose it in this one. But in order for an investor, a buyer, a gambler to get paid on a meme gamble, someone else has to lose. That money's not being created. It's you know, flowing around. Like you take Aerodrome, for example. That's a platform with a purpose and users who are doing stuff. The platform generates revenue through fees, and people who use it can, you know, earn yield and earn interest. And there's kind of like money is coming in and being earned and being made in other ways. It's not exclusively a PvP like gamble play, but in the meme lane, that's what that is. So my hunch is that if you take a bunch of AIs, all of whom are constantly learning to get better and more efficient and like spot the patterns, eventually the patterns they spot are going to be their own patterns, which is a strange way of thinking about them training in the future. And the thing is that unless there's some other means of like capturing revenue and using that for something, I'm very curious to see how that works when it's PvP, AI versus AI. Someone's losing money. Someone has to lose money or the memes don't work. That's the only way that they survive, is by people losing money. You know, you have one person that makes 1,000 people lose $1. That's how the meme coin casino works. You're trying to be the one. 99% of the time, you're going to be the 1,000.
You're not that guy, pal.
You might be, but it's luck, right? Like it's luck. There's a few people who are skilled at it, and most of them, like if you look at Orangey on Twitter, if you're familiar with, If you're familiar with Orangey, like he makes a bunch of money, but it's honestly because whatever he buys, everyone FOMOs into it, and he just makes a shitload of money. And sorry for anyone who's unaware, PvP just means player versus player. It just means you're competing with somebody else.
Yeah, I gotcha.
I don't know. I feel like the AI agents playing around in the meme coin casino, it's going to end up pretty much being the exact same thing, at least in my opinion, because like they'll be analyzing all the past behavior that's happened before, which means the future behavior will be the same. And you'll see which AI models are better. But I mean, like, the stock market's run by trading bots, so.
But there's more external like contributors in the stock market.
Sure.
Like there's more stuff that adds money to the stock market than just, gambler invested liquidity.
Okay, if you want to jump in the AI conversation, you got a hot take. I really will tell you the best place to do it is in the Rise Up Discord. We've got a lot of links there, including to the 2 episodes of Unchained that I mentioned. We've got threads discussing whether or not agents will be a big thing in the future, and certainly it will be a topic of ongoing conversation on our show. But I would love to pivot us to answer a couple of questions that have been coming in. One of them that I think is really timely is what's going to happen to Ondo Finance with the big token unlocks that are coming earlier this year. I think it's the 18th of this month. Somebody might need to fact check me, or I can fact check yourself, brother. Do one of those, but it is set to have like a 100+% unlock. I think it's like 130% of the supply that currently circulates on the. Yes.
This seems like a great opportunity to showcase a DeFi Llama feature.
Well, why don't you showcase one, my brother?
I'm doing it.
This
show is not sponsored by DeFi Llama, but it should be, because holy shit, do I plug the crap out of them.
I got a feature for you? Okay, great. You pull it up on the big screen, and I'll pull it up on the screen share. Just to say, if you're an Ondo holder or you're considering getting into Ondo Finance makes it easy and possible for other institutions to tokenize real world assets, to bring them on chain so that people can speculate on them, or so that people can do the reverse. They can bring crypto assets into a financial instrument that people in the traditional financial world can more easily invest in. So it's giving velocity to capital in both directions. It's been a really hot company in our space in terms of mindshare, but also in terms of capital. The projects that they touch or are adjacent to are highly impactful. Most notably, I think right now is BlackRock's Biddle Fund. Ondo makes that possible, along with help from Securitize, whose board was chaired, maybe is still chaired by Paul Atkins, who is tapped to be the incoming chair of the SEC. So lots of
good old
helpful news there. Good old Paul. But people are rightfully concerned that there might be a lot of sell pressure ahead of this upcoming token unlock. That's a lot of tokens. 134% of your current supply is a lot of tokens to drop on the market. So,
but it's not all being dropped at once.
That's
being
right.
Spread out over 3 years.
It's a. Oh, wait a second. I thought a significant portion that was coming this month.
Beginning.
But yeah, when I looked into it, I also
isn't it a bigger chunk this month, and then it's slower.
It could be a bigger chunk this month. If you've looked at it more recently than I am, I'm sure you're correct.
Well, let me get a second check. Go ahead, Alex.
So this is DeFi Llama. This is the home screen, and I refuse to go any further into showing anyone anything on this website without pointing out that yet again it's another day where someone tells me that Ethereum is obsolete because of the gas fees, and another day of me pointing out that Ethereum has currently $91.949 billion of TVL, total value locked, which is an acronym that explains how much money is currently on that ecosystem.
What is that, 10 times bigger than Solana?
Which is just under 10 times the size of Solana, which is in second place. And it
really
is
quickly
more
before
TVL.
Go ahead. I don't want to shift the screen share until I give you a fact check, but I'll shift it. Go ahead.
That's fine. It's more TVL than every other blockchain on Earth put together, still, and growing. So let's just keep that in mind when we say ETH is dead.
And if you don't use DeFi Llama, like Alex said, it really is one of the best websites to do your crypto research, to get a second opinion, to fact check yourself at DeFiLlama.com. I did fact check the token, and it's going to be 53,000 tokens a month starting today. But on January 18th, 3 weeks from now, 2 weeks from now, whatever, there is going to be a like 1.9 billion token unlock, and it is 134% of the supply, according to at least 2 different websites that I think have pretty good reputations. So could I be wrong? Absolutely. You should definitely verify. But the information that I have says that. And then it'll be 53,000 tokens every month.
Yeah, I remembered going on, I think it was Token Unlocks or Crypto Rank, and it said that amount of tokens, it will double. And then I went into and then a bunch of people in the comment section of that video I made was like, no, it's being released over 3 years. And some people in the Discord did too. So I was like, huh. And I went into the white paper, and it said that would be vested over 3 years, or that would be slowly trickled out over 3 years. So at this point, I'm just throwing my hands up in the air and I go, all right, supply's going up, whatever. I don't own it. I'm not touching it.
Here you go. So if you go, I'll back up. If you go to DeFi
you
Llama,
need to zoom that in for me too, bub, because
you.
that's tiny, man.
Yeah, bub.
I got you. Will, I swear to God. Evan, I can't scroll over anymore, but right there on the menu here, there is a feature that they've added with the new for unlocks, where now you can track your unlocks right here on the Llama.
Now it's a site for everything.
It's it truly is just
trying to take away the game, man.
So click on that, and you don't even have to search for anything. You can just check out this main menu here that has all of them, and scroll down, and it'll give you a couple things: current token price, current market cap, how much is currently unlocked, and what the max supply is. And then if there are daily unlocks, for example, that will also be cataloged right here on this same chart. And then, so if we just search for Ondo, it pops up right here. So Ondo currently sitting at $1.51 with a market cap of 2.203
My brother in Christ,
billion.
Nobody on TikTok can see that. Can you help us out?
Well, Evan, if you'll notice as you look at this screen here, it's like it doesn't. I'm doing my best here, but you need to help me out a little bit. Ondo.
Thank you.
Token price. Market cap. Current unlocked percentage, 14% of the max.
Evan, your hands are so shaky.
So as you can see here, there is a lot. There's a lot of for everyone on TikTok. This screen share is awful. Like TikTok doesn't let me screen share, unfortunately. So
you got to deal with like my.
all you need to do is go to defilama.com/unlocks and search for Ondo, and you'll see exactly what I'm looking at.
Play along at home.
Daily unlocks. So right now, 54,552 Ondo are being unlocked daily, which is a value of 82 grand. Not really a tremendous amount, not really a noteworthy amount when your max supply is 10 billion. And just for the record, we can debate this. Absolutely. This is just my opinion. I'm not saying
clear as day right there.
It's just my opinion that some inflation in a token with a purpose like Ondo is a good thing. You want people to be able to acquire more of your token. Otherwise, it is exclusively, a wealth hoard, and it can't be super utilitarian if it's very hard to get and very cost prohibitive. Just my 2 cents. So right here, we can see that coming up, the next big event is in 10 days, 16 hours, 3 minutes, and 10 seconds. And it is for $2.92 billion worth, 19.4% of the supply being unlocked. So that's a pretty significant chunk, which is, like Evan was saying, 132.96% of the current circulating supply. So 14% is currently unlocked. They're adding an additional 19%. So in answer to the question on everyone's mind, what does this mean for the price of Ondo? 100%
down.
I would be absolutely gobsmacked if this did not move the price down.
Yeah, same.
Could it be somewhat priced in? It could be a little bit priced in. It could be aiding in the suppression of some Ondo price action compared to the rest of the market as this looms. However,
you can't price this in fully.
Yes, I would be so gobsmacked if we got up to this thing and the price did not drop. So what does that mean for Ondo long term? So there's several different ways you can look at this, right? You have to look at the short term. If you are interested in trading, if you're thinking you're going to take a stab at trying to time this, spoiler alert, not the best idea you've ever had. If you're not like a regular routine day trader, I am not going to try to attempt it because I suck at trading, and I know that, so I stay in my lane. So what you could do is if you're up significantly on Ondo, it might not be a bad idea to take some profits ahead of this, because as we know about it and as we track it and talk about it, there are, of course, people who are not aware of this and not planning on it and not tracking it. And someone is going to buy that top. So taking some profit and waiting to see how this shakes out. Because even if we can't guarantee exactly what the price is going to do, as I'm sure Will and Evan will agree, markets do not generally enjoy uncertainty. And this is an uncertain time in Ondo's short-term future. Long-term, am I worried about it? No. Think about what's actually happening in the big picture. Way more tokens are coming onto the market, meaning that if Ondo is as good as they say they are, and they're doing what they say they're going to do, which from what we can tell so far, it looks like they're doing good work. If a bunch more of that token comes into the world, that means way more people will have access to it at potentially a lower price, which in the long term for a truly utilitarian cryptocurrency that has demand is a good thing when we're talking about like years, not just 5 minutes from now. So my honest advice, if you're overwhelmed and this is like a lot and you're like, well, I've never traded anything and I'm not trying to be a day trader. Great, good. You shouldn't like bully yourself or let yourself get bullied into being a day trader. But long term,
nope,
this is not going to like hurt Ondo's future potential. It is going to be a significant speed bump in short-term price action.
Dude, honestly, that was fantastically said. I agree with all of it and would only add, because people ask about what I'm doing with my Ondo. I have a pretty small bag. I have thought about, I'm in profit. I have thought about selling it, but in order to, I anticipate there's going to be a short-term dip. It could get gobbled right up. There might be a lot of people waiting for those tokens to release and make the price cheaper and drive it back up again. So I'm contemplating selling mine and then buying back in. But I also think, like Alex said, the best thing to do if you don't have a plan is nothing. I think realistically, in order to do a 2x in price now, or to return to this price, once this supply gets unlocked, it's gonna need to essentially do a 2x. Mm-hmm. If you think Ondo can do more than a 2x, I don't think you should be that concerned. The reason I got into Ondo is because I saw all the proof in the pudding, the BlackRock partnerships, the Securitize, everybody bringing real world assets on chain. Plume 6 days ago, whole network just used Ondo's stack to bring a bunch more RWAs on chain. Ondo's got the best head start. They're on the Ethereum network, which everybody in finance already uses. Everybody in supply chain already uses. They're already on chain and they're using Ethereum to do it. I don't know. If I felt like adding more, I would see it as an opportunity to buy. If I wanted to try and time it, I would sell before this unlock, but I don't like to try and time the market.
Let's drill onto that a little tiny bit, because one of the most common questions I feel like I get when we are talking about something that could influence price to the downside is, should I sell and get back in at a lower amount? And I have, there's a
ideally, yes.
Right. Yeah.
right.
Yes, in theory, if you listen to that question,
absolutely.
That sounds fucking fantastic.
Great.
Here's the risk that you just should be aware of before you try to make a decision like that. Are you actually mentally capable of doing it? And here's what I mean by that, because I felt this is what got me hosed the first couple bull runs that I was a part of. The first one, I didn't do it at all. The second bull run, I was like, wow, that was my mistake. I should have been, selling more often and buying back in at a lower amount and like escalating the size of my bag that way. In practice, then, I was like, well, has it gone up enough for me to warrant selling anything of it? How much does it have to go down before I do this? And I just like started to try to come up with these plans like on the fly as it was happening. And that was like that was not it. That was like so overwhelming. And I was constantly second guessing myself and just like, okay, wait, no, it's only gone down 8%. It could go up, it could go down way more. And then I'm just like sitting on the sidelines with either stablecoin reserves, looking at something that I'm too scared to put in because it's just going up and up and up and up. And I'm like all the way out of it. So it's just like a bad situation to put myself in.
I agree.
And the way that I finally got out of it was just like, that's obviously the ideal scenario, right? Ideally, price goes up, you sell. Price goes down, you buy back more of it. It goes up, back up again, and you just keep doing that. Ladder. What you need to be careful of is one, not being able to time the top. So eventually, it is possible that you buy back in at a higher price as it continues to go up. And yes, you're working with more money, but you just bought the top, your exit liquidity, and now the market's going to go bearish, and you're going to hold this bag until next time and just hope to God that we make a new all-time high in 4 years.
Sad
which
times.
is risky.
Very much so.
That's a very risky position to put yourself in. And if you're brand new to this, the odds of you timing the top are almost zero.
Just don't do it.
Even if you're not new to this.
Even if you're not new. Like, ask me after 7 or 8 years of doing this, ask me how confident I am that I'm going to time the top.
Yeah, that's exactly right.
It's like same. Actually, now I'm probably more dangerous because I like think I know more about what's going on, which means I'm like more likely to be like, no, I got this.
More likely to mess up.
So many good comments like, so you're saying there's a chance. And also manually, if you're trading manually, this is such a good point. You almost certainly are not going to do it. The people who nail the top, they've got an edge. They got limit orders. They got luck. I mean, you know, it's not something to aspire to. It's better to aspire to exercising that healthy profit taking muscle, building your conviction, and dollar cost averaging, right?
Basically, the way that I would think about it is just to say it's not a bad strategy to attempt. And I think it's okay to take the risk on it if you're comfortable with it and you're aware that you're risking. But this is why I always say, and I will continue to say again, don't sell or buy the whole position at once. So you should never deploy 100% of your stablecoin or your cash reserves into an asset. And when it's going up, I don't think you should ever sell 100% of it. I always like to have like some exposure to the thing I believe in, and I want some ability to get more of it, which means I always have at least a percentage of my portfolio in stablecoins. And I'm totally fine with not making quite as much money as that guy on Twitter who's flexing on me. I'm cool with that. Becoming cool with that is like one of the biggest level ups you can make in this market.
It really is. It's such a nice, beautiful mental shift. And then the other thing is having like the practice to muscle memory of hitting the sell button.
Well,
like,
Will, why don't you
talk
through your thought process a little bit, because one of my indicators for like when I should consider taking some profits is when Will, who's a way better trader than I am, will be like, you know what? I'm seeing X, Y, and Z. I'm going to de-risk a little bit. And then everyone in his comment sections, they're learning their lessons now, but his comment section starts calling him a moron. And then all of a sudden the market traders.
It's been a while since that happened.
I know.
There's always one or two, but there used to be like the entire video's comment sections.
But I think about that all the time. And so, Will, I know you have a pretty good baked out thesis for yourself when you're thinking about de-risk and like not really caring what everyone else on social media is telling you should be doing with your money, you know, but forming your own thesis and your own opinions with, you know, your own data. So what was building that like? You know, what was it like when you sucked at it and then kind of getting to that point where you're more confident and comfortable with it?
Well, when I sucked at it, I just bought stuff and then never sold it, HODL gang. And then in my first cycle, let's say like $8,000 became over $100,000. And then those $100,000 became $4,000.
Amen, brother.
I was like, oh boy. All right, let's try this differently. And at that time, I was following a handful of creators and I was paying attention to how they traded and tried to emulate that. Kept finding new folks who were trading differently, tried emulating that. And then the second cycle, I sold some, but not nearly enough because I was still, I had certain price targets locked in my head, like $100,000. That was the thing. Bitcoin last cycle was supposed to get to $100,000. And I was like, well, I can't sell anything because if I sell anything, I'm leaving money on the table. And so I didn't sell nearly enough. I sold maybe like 25% and then like ended up writing a whole bunch down and then sold way later to de-risk. It ended up going further down. So it was a good idea, but still, you know, I left so much money on the table. And then this cycle, you know, I've had basically 7 years of like figuring out what works for me on the charts and building confidence and like charting things without necessarily having money involved or without having any intention to buy or sell more, and just kind of seeing how things go and building confidence in my own analysis. And then I had it. And now I'm at the point where it's like, if I think there's a 60% chance of us like markets tanking, totally fine with de-risking, because I just remember the pain remember the pain beforehand. So, hard learned lessons. You don't want to learn multiple times over and over again. So yeah. And then, being a creator here, I have an audience of people to poke fun at me when I make a mistake and to cheer me along when I do things correctly.
True.
And when I de-risked last July or whenever it was a bad time to de-risk, but still I felt good.
Mhm.
I felt good because I was like, I could take a breath. Like I was getting emotional in the market, and luckily I was still up in my coins, so I could de-risk and still be in profit. Even though it was near a local bottom, but like I was able to calm down, reevaluate the market, reset myself, wait not just for a high, but for a new local bottom, get back in, and it's been great. And being able to just kind of sell at certain times, and I'll have people in my comment section tell me like, "Oh, dude, it's not the right time to sell, man. This thing's gonna get another blah 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 blah." I'm like, "Yeah, it might, but like, I don't care. I'm fine with." I have been able to finally witness the benefit of it goes up 40%, take some profit. It goes back down, I can buy back in. If not, it keeps riding up, whatever. Find a new coin or I keep a moon bag, and that rides. And then I go and I get another 40% win, and I get a 60% win. Every now and again, I get 100%, 120% win. And I'm just seeing the money in my wallets just go up. I'm just watching them go up because I'll de-risk at a certain time, but not everything. And it's really, really nice. I haven't been this emotionless and calm and secure in any of my 3 bull runs, more than I am right now. Because I now know I'm in a position where it's like, if I see things get a little risky, I'll pull it all off. And one day, that's going to be near the top. And I'm going to feel real smart and real good. And I'm going to walk away and buy my home with my girlfriend's art studio.
I thought you were going to say, buy my hoa. Nice. I was like, geez, man. I was like, don't talk like that.
But I mean, to that point, Will, like if that works out, it will be luck that you happen to be at the top, the result of just a baked out thesis that you had conviction in. And
well, if you're in the right place at the right time, if you're prepared for it, luck is what happens when preparation meets opportunity. Will is spending time here. He's investing his attention here and building skills here every day. It's only a matter of time before he does hit the top of something if he continues to apply himself and is smart enough about it that he has enough money on the table to swing the bat again. That's the other real skill is just don't lose all your money. Keep playing the game.
Yeah, just don't. That's the biggest thing. It doesn't matter how much you win so long as you win. What matters is that you put yourself in a position not to lose. And so the biggest mental shift, and then actually I have to hop off real quick for a client call. I have a client sitting in a meeting right now. So it's going to be like a 10-minute call. I'll be back. But it is the putting yourself in a win-win situation. If you're in profit and you sell 2/3 of your bag, you won. If it keeps going higher, you won because you still have a 1/3 of your bag. If it goes down lower, guess what? You get to buy back in. You won. You put yourself in a win-win-win situation. That's the mental shift you got to put yourself in. If you do that, you'll end up finding yourself becoming a much more profitable trader.
Well said. Well, Will, when you come back, we've had a lot of requests for an Arrow and Morpho update. So
yeah, I'll be making videos on both of them today. Also, I have a lot of requests to catch up on from our lounge.
Our lounge. Speaking of the lounge, that's in the Discord server. It's totally free to join and hang out and ask us a question where the show lives 24/7. But if there is something else your heart desires that isn't included in the freemium, we call it membership, then you should sign up for a free premium trial. We have classes, we have coaching, we have a dedicated space to get our attention anytime to ask a crypto question. The most expensive tier is like $19 a month. But you can try it totally free for $7, and you don't have to pay a dime to start learning with us. Alex has a free PDF guide you can download at theriseupmorningshow.com. We've got free space for your questions. We got videos on YouTube, from tutorials from way back on liquidity in the meme coin casino to what is Web3 and why does it matter. If it's a learning resource and we don't have it, then we're working on building it. All of it's available at theriseupmorningshow.com, or you can find the link to our Discord on the screen here on TikTok and on the screen here on YouTube, Twitter, LinkedIn, Facebook, Shout out to our friend John Whalen, who's the only guy in the Twitter chat. Hope he's enjoying the serenity over there. And we're so glad you could join us. Thanks for all the likes. Thanks for all the questions. We're taking them down. We're taking them down. Alex, we did have somebody say one of our favorite things to talk about is taking profits and exit strategies. Like, you can't do any of those things we just talked about if you don't have enough conviction in like what you're going to do. So can you talk us through the kind of next step in that process? I hold some tokens. Maybe I did, maybe I didn't research them very thoroughly, but now I need to figure out how to turn those tokens back into cash, what my time frame is going to look like, and the market is going crazy. I don't know if it's going to be up or down tomorrow. How do I start building an exit strategy for this run specifically? And maybe you can use yourself or your tokens as an example.
Yeah, so the cash out question is common, and on this last video that I just posted, I've gotten a ton of comments from a couple regions of the world specifically that I'm, not just I need to do some homework to figure out exactly the best options. But I got a ton of comments from Nigeria and Kenya and the Caribbean, all just about like, what are the options? And so in general, I'll say one thing first. If you're feeling, kind of like Will is describing with, being over emotional or panicking, up or down, whatever, that's not a great headspace to be in. And in that moment, de-risking can be the best move. You might be like way up and you're starting to get really nervous that it's all going to crash. Or you might be looking at the market like way down and you might be feeling like, oh my God, I need to buy like way more than I know I should, because like everyone's saying it's going to go up. And right now, like the only thing I see on social media is that like altcoin season is right around the corner and everyone's going to make millions of dollars, which is just like a really terrible mental space to be in, because then even if you are not losing any money, you just feel guilty that you're like, wait, am I doing something wrong? I didn't make $1 million. And you take someone like Sage, for example, who every single video, he just tells you to pay attention and listen because he's about to make you $1 million overnight.
Pay attention and listen. Honestly, it's an effective hook, though.
He's such a piece of shit. It's not even funny.
As you were saying.
Yeah. So all that does is just like inspire guilt and shame and like all sorts of stuff. That dipshit doesn't even delete videos. Like, scroll back on his timeline. Every other video is a price prediction about someone about to make $1 million, and then like a week goes by and nothing happens, so he just switches to another token. Like, he's such a piece of shit. It's not even funny. Anyway, the best thing that you can do is in that moment is de-risk, which is what stablecoins exist for. So Evan, I know that you and I are both not maxis, but pretty much just use USDC because we've got some good options while we're using USDC.
Dude, and I just found some more over the weekend, but continue.
Yeah, so I want to share 2 examples.
Okay.
So first of all, if you hold any kind of a cryptocurrency, there are what's called trading pairs. And I wish I had like the ability to, what we need to figure out how to do, Evan, on the stream is the Pirate Software thing. I don't know if you know that creator, but he's a phenomenal streamer, and he always has like a little, like a Microsoft Paint box on his screen, and he just draws on it all the time, like a little whiteboard. And I love it.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
I would like that if I could draw with my finger and not with my mouse.
Yeah.
Because my mouse drawings look like,
no, you gotta have a touchpad.
Look like I should be committed somewhere.
Yeah.
Like.
Well. Anyway, trading pairs are basically just like things that you can. I'll put an example on the screen in case you've never heard the phrase trading pair before. Let's see.
It is just an accepted currency swap. If you go to a restaurant that doesn't take euros and you try to pay in euros, then swapping food for euros is not an accepted currency pair. Smart contracts that control cryptocurrency, they recognize different types of tokens, and they may be ready to accept certain tokens and not others. That's all. If there's a pool of tokens, you may have requirements about which tokens can go in and out of the pool. Just keeps things easy and manageable.
Check this out. So
I'm checking it out. Hang on.
This is
TikTok.
This is a tool called Dex Screener. I see a comment about Dex tools. They're very similar. You can use either one. I just like Dex Screener. If I search for Aerodrome, you'll notice here that there's a bunch of options that come up, And these are all actually Aerodrome. But you'll notice, let me see if this part, okay, sweet, this zooms in. So Evan, just hold it, yeah, right there. Okay, we see my cursor, yeah.
Yeah,
so
beautiful.
You have Aero / something. This is the trading pair. This particular trading pair is Aero trading against wrapped Ethereum on base. So
real quick, can I answer the wrapped ETH question? Because a lot of people ask this question. WETH stands for wrapped ETH, like Alex said, which is a common synthetic asset used to make it easier to accept thank you. An asset that represents another asset. This asset represents Ethereum. It can be used in place of Ethereum in certain pools. And the reason that many pools use WETH instead of ETH is because wrapped ETH makes it easier for anybody's Ethereum, whether it's on Base Network, Polygon Network, Ethereum Network, to be swapped seamlessly, cheaply for these people in this pool. Usually you trade your ETH for this. And they wrap it for you and then unwrap it for you when you sell it. Something worth learning about, because wrapping an asset or creating a synthetic version of it can extend its velocity, allows you to use it in more places. Go ahead.
So just like Evan said, so this Ethereum is Ethereum, but you can wrap it in something and put it on a different blockchain. Is basically what this means. So think about here's a fun contraband example. Cuban cigars, widely desired, not legal everywhere. And for a while in the United States, there was an embargo with Cuba. So if you wanted to get a Cuban cigar here, you had to wrap it in a Dominican paper. And this is basically the same thing. Put the Cuban cigar in America by wrapping it in a Dominican paper. Ethereum doesn't naturally live on Base, but you can put it there if you wrap it up in the Base wrapping paper. So that's what this means. Anyway, there's a few things if you look at these pairs here. So you've got Aero trading against wrapped ETH on Aerodrome, which is the name of the exchange. Over here, you have the icons. So the big white square one, this is the logo for Aerodrome. Up here, you have the logo for Base, which is the blockchain that it's on. And underneath that, you have the logo for PancakeSwap, which is the DEX that's being used. Don't worry about it. You've got there's a ton of these, and as soon as you stare at them a couple times, you're gonna remember all of this. This is the trading pair. If you scroll down, here's another one. Here's Aero against USDC. So if I wanted to sell my Aero for USDC, I wouldn't use this one. I would use this one. If I wanted to sell my Aero for Ethereum, I wouldn't use this one. I would use this one. And there's other options too. Like all of these are different. Here's one also on Aero where you can trade Aero into Bitcoin, the Coinbase version of Bitcoin, which is Bitcoin in a wrapper, the exact same way that Ethereum was a wrapper, was wrapped on that first pair that we looked at right here. And if you'll keep scrolling, there's a ton of these. So you can't just trade crypto into anything that you want. It has to have what's called a trading pair in order for you to actually swap it for that. And so the way that I always look to de-risk is just like Will was talking about before he left and came back again. I just convert the crypto in question into a stable coin, which is then, in this case of USDC, pegged to the US dollar, which basically just means that, hey, for right now, it's going to stay. It's going to stay here at the dollar, and I have time to breathe and figure out what I want to do. In the meantime, that doesn't mean that you're just sitting on the sidelines doing nothing. There are things you can do with your stable coins as well. For example, holding USDC as a stable coin on Coinbase, they will pay you 4.7% APR just for keeping it there. Basically just like interest on a savings account, except it's a lot higher than, I don't know about your bank, but it's a lot higher than my bank.
So nice, because when I go into stablecoins, I also still have the feeling of like, oh, sweet, it's still doing something for me.
Exactly.
Yeah. Didn't always have that.
No, did not always have that.
So even if you're not investing in anything, you're still at least making a little bit of extra money with your money. Your money is still working for you a little bit. And that right there is basically the underpinning of DeFi as a concept.
Yep.
From there are tons of places that you can go to do more. For example, here's one more screen share.
Alex, you're killing me, man.
Evan, you don't have to. Don't worry about it.
Well, yes, I do, because you're going to be like, look at this. And then everyone on TikTok is going to be like, what's he looking at, bro? Here,
It's true.
just look at Will. In 2 places.
This
Ooh.
right here is a famous and popular and amazing DeFi platform called Aave. The website is Aave, AAVE.com. And they have a bunch of stuff that you can do. I recommend reading about this and learning about it. J Pill says, but Chase gives me point.
I was laughing at that too. Yeah.
You're right, J Pill. USAA actually gives me a crispy 0.01% interest on my savings account. That's a pretty hard interest rate to say no
Wow.
to.
Goddamn.
But I think we can do better. So I'm a huge Aave fan, and for the last little bit I've really been sleeping on it, and they have really zhuzhed up the place. And put out
Zhuzhed
cookies.
hard.
Yeah. So right now what I'm doing with my USDC is loaning it out on Aave and earning 8% APY on my base wrapped USDC. Which actually it's on a different computer where my actual wallet's plugged in, so I'm not going to show you that part, but you can come over here and sorry, Evan, open another tab. Don't worry. There we go. So here's the
cute
app.
little open tab.
Here's the app itself. And basically you can connect a wallet and it's going to give you a whole bunch of options. In which case, one of the options is just like, earn APY on your USDC. And that's what I've done. If you're lost, one of the things I've been working on for about a week and a half now and almost done with is a full length like video series that uses Aave as an example, just about earning better interest on your stable coins. How safe is Aave? That's a great question.
Yeah, I was just about to highlight that one. Good question.
Aave is I would say about as safe as it gets in
Exactly.
the space.
Yeah.
It's nothing is 100%.
But how can we quantify safety? Because there are a couple metrics
Yeah.
by which you might say Aave is safe.
And
What are
Evan, I'm
some of
going to
those
go
metrics?
ahead and whip up a screen share here.
Evan, just hold that phone up for the next 20 minutes.
All right, here we go. Aave has a lot of liquidity. Aave has a very secure, well-audited smart contracts. Alex, did I save you a screen share yet?
Evan loves doing this. Don't let him fool you. Don't let his belly aching fool you. He loves doing this. So let's take a look. So we're back to DeFi Llama, our very favorite. And we're going to pull up Aave's profile here because you can't just look at ecosystems on DeFi Llama. You can look up specific protocols.
Yeah,
so Aave has $37 billion of TVL, which for anyone keeping score is 4 times as much as the entire Solana network.
Wow.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But Aave exists on many different networks. So,
yes. Aave indexes multiple different blockchains. So one of the things that you can see here are some important numbers. Currently, Aave has a $5 billion market cap. The price of the token has been doing quite well. The fully diluted valuation is very close to the market cap, meaning most of Aave's tokens are in circulation. There is a lot staked. There's a tremendous amount of 24-hour volume just inside of the token Aave itself. And then down here, you can see, oh, wow, hey, this place is actually making some pretty decent revenue. So currently Aave is making roughly $150 million a year in revenue, which is quite good. And all of the money that's made on a platform like this is what fuels the users using it. That's what fuels user rewards. So the basics of a borrowing and lending platform behaves very similar to a bank. You need money, you can put up some collateral and you can take a loan. So if you have Ethereum and you don't want to sell it, but you want to use that money for something else, you can take a loan out against your Ethereum. Don't worry about like understanding all of this right now. This is a big topic, but this is what I mean when I say learning about DeFi is important, and Aave is a really good platform to start like learning about.
Have you guys ever taken a loan? I have been the lender. I've never been the borrower.
I have never done it personally, but I have observed. I thought a couple years ago about getting into it. I just didn't want to spend as much time. There was a guy here on TikTok called Jeff the Dunker, who used to advocate for like you could find, you know, a loan that you're paying back at 2% for an asset that you could stake for 9%, and then you could do that like 7 times and be earning 35% on your ETH. But you got to be watching it every single day, because if your loan gets called or you can't make it, you know, whatever, it's a lot of collateral.
Got it.
We can get Michael or Joe to come on and talk about it, because both of them do take out loans, and they also lend. They play both sides of it, and both of them use Aave quite a lot. I know Joe is using Aave to earn extra yield on his Avalanche by borrowing and lending. So we could definitely bring him on and have him kind of just walk through his thing. Joe is like he's a DeFi. He doesn't talk about it quite as much, but Joe is just like a very conservative and measured DeFi user. And for anyone who's been around us for a while, Joe is one of the original Faceless Labs team members, and he's a teacher for a long time. He's a principal. He's an educator. He's very good, and he is a big DeFi guy. He's way more into DeFi than probably anybody I know in terms of like just using it consistently all the time. And I saw a great question here about, is it a good idea to stake USDC on Aave during the bear market? I can't say 100%, but what I can say is that it's updated in real time. So you can constantly track how much is being lent and borrowed, and what fees they're paying you and what fees they're charging borrowers. And so what I'm doing is just keeping an eye on things. But I imagine that since Aave's been around for years, they've been through a bear market before.
Alex, really quick, click on the yields tab up there under
right here.
This one? I don't know. Yes, your mouse is moving slow on my screen. Because you can track their APY over time to see historically. Oh, maybe it's not going to do that. I don't know where the chart is to go see. You might have to look at a particular specific pool. We can find USDC on Aave.
Stay right there. Stay right there.
I'll stay right here. Yeah, I see where you're going. That's exactly where I want to go.
Here we go. So
hold tight.
The pink line is the APY.
Yeah. Did you click something?
Did it? Oh, sorry. It bumped it into another tab. Here we go.
Yeah. Okay, great. So this pink line is the APY over time for USDC on Aave. And this is one of their pools. This is Aave V3 on Ethereum specifically. And not only does it tell you what the average APY has been visually and with numbers, but you can also see what the outlook is for the future. And I don't have, stats on like how reliable that is, but they have really great metrics here that you can look at to see supply versus APY over time.
Well, and check this out too, Evan. They have actually an algorithmic outlook, just sort of like a prediction. So this algorithm predicts that the current APY will fall, into like the high 6s within the next 4 weeks. Usually this means that they're anticipating a lot more money getting locked up in Aave and more people kind of in the pool. Generally, the higher the APY kind of can go up as fewer people are staking. So if a lot of people are pulling money out to do other things with their stable coins, like buying other more high risk assets, the interest rates will climb because there are fewer people getting that payout in the pool, and they'll kind of stabilize and drop and kind of float around that like average, which I've found on Aave. I've found that the average has recently been around 7%. But here you can actually see the current APY on Aave is 8.72% with a 30-day average of 10.71%.
Which honestly is bananas considering how much supply and volume they've had lately.
Mm-hmm. I mean, Aave is kind of killing it right now.
They really are.
a lot of attention on them right now.
And it's a great place
the
to learn about
highest,
staking.
the highest USDC APY in all of the land is actually on Morpho right now.
Is it Steakhouse?
I forget the name of it. I was trying to look it up, but I remember seeing
Because
it
that's what I was
being
going to tell Alex
tweeted
about.
2 days ago.
I don't know if it's the highest that you can get if you like leverage and over collateralize, but
Well, yes.
but I was seeing that the other day. If you're a Morpho holder and you want to like put your money where your mouth is and use the protocol, they have a pool right now that without any kind of boosting or leverage, at least when I checked yesterday, was 14.7% on your USDC. It was run by a company called Steakhouse.finance. They launched their protocol earlier in December. And I had been watching it. Steakhouse is an app name because it has been looking pretty juicy. I've been thinking about parking my my USDC over there. Now, Alex, I know you've got to go.
Yes.
So, do you have time for us to come down and do a round of last thoughts, questions, suggestions, good jokes, words of wisdom, or you got to just take it?
If I go first right now and then leave immediately.
Go now.
Okay, great. Send us your final thoughts, your questions, suggestions in the chat, and we'll tell you how to follow up with us again and where we'll be tomorrow. But first, my friend,
Don't come for me.
Alex, what's your final thought?
I'm just looking forward to this week. If you are here because you saw a video about me wanting to do a better job teaching about DeFi this year, Will is another huge DeFi nut, so I'm excited to work on helping people just put your money to work for you this year. That's really the theme for me right now. I'm working on a pretty big series. It's going to be a whole bunch of, I don't even know how many parts it's going to be. I'd like to then consolidate all of it into like one YouTube video. So Evan, I'll probably harass you into doing that. Will probably rope you into that one too, because I know you have a lot to add. And then if you want to learn more about this, Discord is truly, truly, truly the best place to do it. So if you want to learn more about DeFi, in a more like safe and slower paced and like let's break it down and go through step by step, what do you have to do, Discord is the place to be. So my final thought is I hope to see every single one of you in the Rise Up Discord, the link to which is on both of the screens.
Right, it's coming to YouTube and Facebook and everywhere else. There you go.
So great to see you guys. I'm stoked to be back. We've got a ton to cover this week, and I'll see you guys.
I'll see myself out, he said. Okay. Have a good day, brother, and we'll catch up with you later. And hey, real quick, everybody, if you do want another resource, the probably most extensive resource we currently have about DeFi is we have a how-to DeFi class. You can find it at theriseupmorningshow.com. We are going to do live classes every quarter this year. I don't have the sign up yet, but in the meantime, you can get a recording for just $15. It's easy to get on our Eventbrite page, which you can find at theriseupmorningshow.com. If you're not in the Rise Up Discord, Alex Anthony wants to know, then where
the fuck you at?
That's what I'm saying, man. Tech
You need
CEO
those
asks,
new
who
mugs.
needs a new mug? I know. I did a giveaway the other day, and I'm waiting for SRDF, as I think who our username is, to contact me. I saw they gave me a friend request in Discord. So if that's you and you want this beautiful mug, let me know. We're going to launch new mugs, new merch, including the Onboarding Your Mom Since 2017 sweatshirt. And I think it'll be good. Will, what about you? Do you have we had a request for a Morpho Era update. You said you were going to do that this afternoon, huh? You got a video
on it, which I should have done this morning, but we have a bearish break on Morpho's chart right now. Dun dun dun.
Dun, dun,
But
dun.
it'll be fine. It could come down to $3.21, maybe even $2.97. After that, probably will be fine. That's it for Morpho. For Aero, I haven't even looked at Aerodrome's chart. I haven't been looking at Aerodrome's chart very closely. Let's see. Aerodrome also looks like it wants to fall potentially down to $1.25 to $1.30 right now. Unsurprising, as Bitcoin dominance looks like it wants to rise a little bit, which we talked about in my altcoin update video this morning. So yeah, it looks like altcoins are going to be taking a breather today and tomorrow, maybe the day after that. And then I think things will be fine. But that's it. That's the update. Nothing too crazy, guys.
Beautiful.
Nothing too crazy. And then I have to go at 9:30. Just FYI.
Well, listen, that's it. We're doing final thoughts. I got to tell you, Will, I really missed your energy. I missed your smile. I missed your smarts. It's just not the same show without you. So my final thought will be to say, Will, brother, welcome back. Can we get some dolphins in the chat?
Beautiful. So good.
I'm going to try and make an orchestral sound that sounds like many dolphins calling to each other. Because that's what we need. So do you have a final
we need
thought
a
or question?
pod. A pod of dolphins.
You would know that it's called a pod.
It is a pod. Yes. And no, I don't know. Oh my god, all the dolphin comments. All the
I
dolphin
know, isn't it
emojis.
great?
I love it so much. It's so good. This was such an unintentional thing that has been created. It's wonderful. The inverse Watson was intentionally created. The dolphin, I was just being silly, and now here we are.
Just here for the memes, man.
I was silly on one video, and here we are. I don't know. Final thoughts and words of wisdom. I don't know. I'll just reiterate what I said before. Put yourself in a win-win-win situation. You know, by taking profits along the way, sell part of your bag so that if it continues to go up, you're still winning because you took profits, but also because your money's still going up. But also if it goes down, you won because you took profits. And if you see a local bottom, you get to buy back in. Guess what? You won. That's actually a win-win-win-win situation. You got to change your mindset to that. You got to change your mindset from thinking that the only scenario of you winning is buying a bottom and selling a top, because your idea of winning is impossible. And you're not going to do that. And so then you're going to lose. You're going to be a loser. You're going to be exit liquidity. You're not going to get any money. You will not change. Not going to change your life in any way, shape, or form. In fact, you'll make it worse. So change your mindset, you know? And if you do that, you'll walk away from this market as a winner. And most retail investors won't. Not more than half of them won't. So, you know, try not to be that person. The other things that I'll say is Machiste just went from being a contractor to working on Base to now being a full-time employee at Coinbase, working in developing Base. So congrats to Machiste. That's just awesome. myk.eth. He's got the the Mochi cat.
Little Mochi.
As his logo. Yeah, the Mochi cat is his logo. I think it's great. And last thing I'll say. Nope, I hung myself out to dry. I don't have anything else to say.
Hey man, don't fret about it. Then I'm going to take us out of here. We'll be back tomorrow at 7 a.m. Central Standard Time. You can catch up with us in the Discord server. We'd love to see you there. And answer all the questions you didn't have time for. Okay, but when do I sell? How do I take profits? Which one is the real Bitcoin? And so much more, my friends. Thank you.
Also, you can't buy Base. There's no token for Base.
Oh, yeah. There's no token for Base. And, you know, all the pithy sentiments, we got a lot of those. So stick with us. Keep coming back until we